Sports presents this afternoon from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. It's the Orioles against the Oakland A's. Today's game is brought to you by Stroh's. From one beer lover to another, Stroh's. And by your local Baltimore, Washington area Subaru dealer. This afternoon, the Orioles wind up a three-game series against the Oakland A's. The teams have split the first two games. The Orioles winning the opener 9-2 before a crowd of 32,023. Last night, another big crowd, 32,646. And the A's, with some good pitching by Don Sutton and Jay Howell, who worked the last two innings, beat the Orioles 3-1. Hello, everybody. I'm Mel Proctor along with John Lowenstein. And while the Orioles are concluding this three-game set with Oakland, the Toronto Blue Jays are hosting the Cleveland Indians in a doubleheader. The Blue Jays are red hot. They've won 10 of their last 11. They lead the Orioles by 5 games. To say this game is important for the Orioles is an understatement.
Well, it would behoove the Orioles to play like they're capable of playing, Mel, but of course, before you know it, Toronto could be so far out in front of the pack, you're liable to see another Tiger-style runaway.
Probably the most positive aspect of the Orioles' recent West Coast road trip was the pitching of Scotty McGregor, who had been struggling. He'd had some physical problems, weakness in his arm, blurred vision, and dating back to last year, the broken finger, which he suffered in Anaheim. And he'd really been having a tough time of it. But he put things together in Oakland. He shut out the A's on 3 hits. And then in his last game, he beat the California Angels with a complete game, scattering 6 hits. He appears to be back on the beam, and he is so important to this staff.
If the Orioles are going to be contenders in this particular division, Mel, they're going to have to depend on Scotty. He's got to be right. And with the addition of Flanagan later in the season, these two have to pitch as they're capable of pitching. As you suggested, Scotty is back in the groove, and they're going to need him.
Another guy who appears to be back in the groove is Eddie Murray, who's hit .470 on his homestand.
He's been impressive. He's been absolutely overpowering with the bat, as we saw yesterday, scattering people in the bullpen, in the right field bullpen in the Oakland A's, which is kind of funny. I think it would behoove us to get to the A's before Jackie Moore walks to the mound and picks Howell out of the bullpen.
Yeah, Jay Howell last night worked 2 scoreless innings to pick up his 11th save, and the Orioles just as soon have him stay in the bullpen. Let's take a look at the starting lineups this afternoon. First for the Oakland A's, Steve Henderson will lead off. He'll be in left field. Carney Lansford batting second. Mike Davis, who had a home run last night, is in right field. Dave Kingman, who had the game-winning RBI on a sacrifice fly last night, is again in the cleanup spot. Dusty Baker at first base. Dwayne Murphy in center field. Mike Heath will do the catching. Rob Peachlow at second base. And Alfredo Griffin at shortstop. That was a last-minute change. Johnny Hill was going to play second and Peachlow short, but just a moment ago we were informed that Jackie Moore has changed his lineup and put Griffin back in there. Pitching, Mike Warren, who's since throwing a no-hitter against the White Sox at the end of the '83 season, has had a difficult time of it.
I'll tell you, Mel, the A's have high hopes for him, and he uses all the pitches, and he'll have to move the ball in and out to be successful. 0-6 in his last 12 starts and hasn't won a game as a starter since April of '84. I think that proves a good indication for the Orioles today.
And the lineup that Warren will face for the Orioles: Lee Lacy in the leadoff spot, playing right field. Jim Dwyer in left. Cal Ripken at shortstop. Eddie Murray has driven in 3 runs in the first 2 games of this series at first base. Fred Lynn in center field. Larry Sheets is a designated hitter. Wayne Gross, the former Oakland A, at third base. Fritz Conley got hurt in yesterday's game, suffered a bruised vertebrae in his back. Len Sakata at second base, and Floyd Rayford will do the catching. Scotty McGregor, who's had good success lifetime against Oakland, he is 8-3 against the A's.
Well, he's shown in his last 2 starts now what he's capable of pitching like, and if the velocity of his fastball exceeds that of his changeup, he should be very happy with his performance today. Scotty's success probably will depend upon how well he spots his pitches, because he's really not an overpowering pitcher.
A warm, humid afternoon here in Baltimore. It appears that summer is finally with us.
Thankfully.
Did you enjoy playing when it was hot and humid here?
I enjoyed playing when there was a breeze blowing out to right field, Mel, because I didn't hit the ball to left very often, and I like to pull it.
slight breeze today, but really shouldn't be much of a factor. Appears to be blowing out toward right center field. The Orioles 2-2 on this homestand. They split the 2-game set with the Seattle Mariners and have divided 2 with the Oakland A's, who lead the season series for the Orioles 3-2. The A's took 2 out of 3 from the Orioles in Oakland. Today is Home Team Sports Jersey Day in Memorial Stadium, and as part of our pregame festivities, the public address announcer Chris Ely will announce the gentleman who will throw out the first ball. Steiner, nice throw. John Lowenstein throwing out the first ball. Getting a nice ovation from these Oriole fans. Gone but not forgotten.
Not missing a thing.
You throw Rafe a curveball?
Throw him a slider. He's going to see a few of those today.
So we're officially ready to get this one underway as John Lowenstein has thrown out the first ball. Defensively, the Orioles will have Dennis Martinez and Mike Boddicker getting to know each other in the dugout. Eddie Murray at first base. Len Cicada at second. Now I know what the players mean when they say when they retire they miss that camaraderie. It's a little camaraderie there with Boddicker and Dennis. Cal Ripken at shortstop. Wayne Gross at third base. He has not been hitting well, but Fritz Conley got hurt last night in a collision at third base. Nothing serious, but he could pinch hit if he was needed today. Jim Dwyer is in left. Fred Lynn in center field. And Lee Lacy in right. Saw Lynn wearing some of that lamp black beneath his eyes.
Might not need it today because it's fairly overcast.
Floyd Rayford made his last start against Seattle and had 3 hits back in there this afternoon. And Scott McGregor is 1-3, lost 4 doing the pitching today against the Oakland A's. The umpires, Tim McClellan behind the plate, Rich Garcia, the crew chief at first, Greg Kosk at second, and Rick Reed working at third. The Orioles in second place in the American League East with a 26-20 mark, 5 games back of Toronto. The Blue Jays hosting Cleveland in a doubleheader today. Dave Steve and Luis Leal pitching for Toronto. Neil Heaton and Rick Behenna going for the Indians. And Steve Henderson leading off for the Oakland A's. Pops it up. Gross and Rayford over near the stands, running out of room, and it's in the seats.
Former member of the Mariners. 2 Hendersons there, as a matter of fact. He's gotten off to a pretty fine start and only part-time play, Mel.
First came up with the Cincinnati Reds, played with the Mets, the Cubs, and the last 2 years the Seattle Mariners. Batting .343 in limited action, has a 4-game hitting streak. Seen McGregor throw him 2 high pitches. He is a high ball hitter.
Well, Scotty, to be successful, he's going to have to use that fastball much more often. It just sets all his other pitches up so well.
Soft line drive. Cicada short hops it and throws Henderson out, and he just managed to find the bag.
Oh, terrific play by both of those fellas.
Henderson runs well.
Looks real easy from the stands, but this ball cued off the end of the bat, and Cicada made a nice play on the short hop. I don't know what Eddie was doing. He probably didn't think Lenny was going to get the ball, at least catch it in the air, maybe.
Yeah, I think he thought he was going to catch it on the fly. Well, Henderson is retired. Carney Lansford steps in. Lansford 1 for 6 through the first 2 games. He takes a big curve for a strike.
Well, that's the pitch that's going to have to be working also. He can throw that pitch with certain precision also, Mo.
Strike two.
The real surgeon on the mound today.
Scotty making his 10th start of the season. Check swing roller, and McGregor has it. Easily throws Lansford out for the second out.
Scotty's used them all. Change up, curve, fastball, changing speeds on everything. A la Don Sutton and Mike Boddicker.
I imagine the guys out at the Stick and Stein Tavern in El Segundo are watching today's game. John McGregor, Scott's dad, so they say hello to Mr. Mack. Bellied up to the bar, as they say.
Every game, never misses one.
It's only 11 o'clock in the morning, but I imagine the Stick and Stein is open.
You bet it's open.
Mike Davis steps in. He had a home run last night. Hit a good pitch by Mike Boddicker. That tied the score, and then the A's went on to win it.
You bet it was down in the strike zone, and Michael just kind of lifted it into the bleachers. What's wrong with a beer on Sunday morning?
Speak for yourself. Not a bad way to start the day. Some people prefer breakfast.
Yes, they do. Doesn't look like Michael has too much difficulty with opposing left-handed pitching.
Davis having a fine year, hitting .313. Dave Kingman on deck. Davis leads the American League in runs scored. Had a fantastic April. He hit 9 home runs in the month of April. He's hit 4 more in May, 3 more in May, and 1 in June. Ball 4. Well, McGregor with a 2-out walk, and he'll have to watch Davis carefully because he runs very well.
Scotty appears to be real strong today. It's a good indication because his changeup will probably be much more effective.
Davis with 6 stolen bases. He's been thrown out twice. When he learns to run a little better, he's going to be a big base stealer. He's got tremendous speed. 2 years ago, he had 33 stolen bases for the A's. Last year, dropped off to 14. Of course, his batting average dropped 45 points, so he wasn't on base nearly as much as he was the year before.
Well, he looks like a runner, too.
Still like a greyhound. Kingman waving in an off-speed pitch.
McGregor keeping the ball away. He's going to have to move the ball in and out today. There's no doubt about that. Even on this big guy, he's got to move him off the plate.
Kingman had the game-winning RBI last night, a sacrifice fly in the 8th inning that put the A's ahead to stay. Another one-handed swing.
A little disgust on Dave Kingman's face.
He's had a rough series. Mike Boddicker made him look bad yesterday. Struck him out in the 6th inning.
Doesn't look like he's got his eyes open too wide either.
Reaches for one.
Sunday days following night games are hard to come by, boy. Makes it tough to want to play.
Dusty Baker.
Even though it's overcast, it's real bright on the field.
Kingman trying to stretch and wake up a little bit. Doing his good morning exercises.
A little late right now.
There goes the runner. High fly ball left center. Lynn broke the wrong way and now hustles in to make the catch. He had trouble picking up that ball.
Yes, indeed, and Kingman had to reach out for that ball again.
In the first for the Oakland A's, no runs, no hits, and a runner left. The Orioles will be setting up Lee Lacy, Jim Dwyer, and Cal Ripken to face Mike Warren. The Oakland A's, Dusty Baker is at first base. We've seen both Baker and Bruce Bochy in the series. Baker in there mainly for his bat. He had a home run in the first game of the series and had a pinch hit single last night. Rob Teachlow, versatile, can play second, short, or third. He's at second base this afternoon. Alfredo Griffin at shortstop. Had a good series. Laid down a squeeze bunt last night. Made some great plays in the field. Carney Lansford at third base. In the outfield, Steve Henderson is in left. Dwayne Murphy in center field. And that's that's Mike Davis. Those two are apparently mixed up on our graphics. Davis is in right field and Henderson is in left. Mike Heath behind the plate. And 24-year-old right-hander Mike Warren doing the pitching. The Orioles beat him twice last year. There's only 2 decisions against the Orioles, facing him for the first time this season.
Mike Warren's not an overpowering pitcher. He relies a lot on his breaking stuff. And once again, for these guys that really don't throw the ball hard, they've got to still work the ball in and out, because if someone doesn't throw the ball too hard, that you get hitters leaning out over the plate and going to take advantage of somebody that doesn't deliver the ball with any velocity.
Warren, a high fastball pitcher, also throws a forkball as his changeup, a slow curve, and a hard slider. That no-hitter that he pitched against the White Sox may have been the worst thing that could have happened to him in a sense, because big things have been expected of him since. There's been a lot of pressure on him, and he really hasn't produced.
And most of that generally happens with a hitter coming up. I can remember that Kirk Gibson of Detroit having great difficulty trying to live up to the expectations in Detroit.
Now, Sparky Anderson said he'd be the next Mickey Mantle.
Wouldn't put that onus on anybody.
I wonder if someday soon a manager will be saying, I think he'll be the next John Lowenstein.
I doubt that.
Here's Lee Lacy, who yesterday told us that he's really 42 going on 25. There's a lot of questions about his age.
Well, that explains why he's hitting the ball to right field so often.
Mike Heath and Warren trying to get their sign straight. 1 fastball, 2 curve.
We'll find out with that center field camera real quickly. Everybody's got that marking under their eyes there to protect them, the sun rays.
Maybe they got mugged last night. Maybe those are black eyes. Ball 1 to Lee Lacy. Had 2 hits in the first game of this series, but took an 0 for last night.
He swung around even more to right field today.
And they're pitching him away.
Way is right. That was balled about 3 inches off the plate.
Strike 2. Fastball on the outside edge, and it's 1-2. Jim Dwyer will be the second man up in the inning. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Lacy usually is a first ball fastball hitter. He hasn't offered it anything yet.
This is the first time he's ever faced Mike Warren. Maybe he wants to see what he has.
Well, he's seen 5.
Joe Altobelli seems to be in good spirits.
He doesn't have to play.
I think I'd rather play than have his job done. A lot of pressure on him.
Under the circumstances, yes.
Was it he once said that his job was more difficult than that of the President of the United States, and he had tougher decisions to make? I don't know about that, but there is a lot of pressure on managers. Jackie Moore and Wes Stock in the Oakland dugout. Ball 4. Lee Lacy draws a rare walk.
Lee waiting to see whether or not Tim McClellan had a busy night last night.
Well, Warren walks the leadoff batter.
Umpires have been known to have a few cocktails too, Mel.
It improves their eyesight.
We'll find out.
I mean, they don't drink milk?
No, Ripken's the only one that drinks milk. Ripken drinks milk. He's the only one on
Cal
both
Jr.
teams. Yes. Cal Sr., no, of course not. He's a hard man.
Jim Dwyer's hit safely in 7 straight games, batting .302. Continuing to do a great job for the Orioles. Lacy runs well. Warren does not hold the runners well, and Lacy is running. Down a play. I think Lacy had the base stolen.
Yeah, you couldn't really tell whether or not that was a hit and run, and you get a chance to look down at Cal. Lacy didn't hesitate at all. And Griffin vacated the hole at shortstop, and that's exactly where Jimmy Dwyer was trying to hit the ball.
Did that bother you when you had a base-stealing threat on and you knew that at some point the county was going to run and maybe you'd want to take a pitch or two?
No, because you would expect somebody that could run to run. But the surprise is when somebody runs who doesn't really expect to run and the shortstop flashes behind the the pitcher back there. It's very irritating.
There's the milk drinker. Drink your milk, Cal.
And the non-milk drinker.
Thank you very much.
Lacy had 21 stolen bases last year for the Pirates.
No, I think Cal Sr. does drink milk. So, no.
Just milk?
He has to. I think he has an ulcer.
Low, 3-1. Warren struggling in the early going. Walked the leadoff batter Lacy. Now goes to a 3-1 count with Jim Dwyer. And let's see if Joe Altobelli starts Lacy.
Well, the Orioles have been known to run on 3-1, 3-2. It's a perfect running situation.
Lacy's not running. And Dwyer lifts a high fly ball to right. Mike Davis moving toward the line. 1 out.
Jimmy got the pitch he wanted. He just got a little under it.
Jimmy Williams, the first base coach.
Jimmy Williams reminding Lee Lacy to keep an eye on Cal Ripken Sr. at third base. He may very well have not run on that pitch because he simply forgot to look over there.
Cal Ripken has not been hitting in his last 11 games. He has just 5 hits and 43 at-bats, but he has walked 8 times. Ball 1.
And the way Eddie's hitting now, anybody getting on base preceding Murray is going to provide some action for the Orioles.
Cal is hitless in this series. 0 for 6 through the first 2 games. Pops it up off first. And Dusty Baker running out of room. Looks like we've got another good crowd, over 32,000 for each of the first 2 games in this series. The Orioles attendance is up over 90,000 compared to the same number of dates last year, in which they set a new club attendance record for one season.
That translates to big money. I'm sure Edward Bennett Williams is real happy to hear that.
Wait till teams like Toronto and Detroit come to town. Lacy's running, and he's thrown offline into center field, and Lacy's on his way to third. That'll be a stolen base for Lacy, and a throwing error charged to Mike Heath.
Lacy with a terrific jump, not even close at second base. The ball tailed that Mike threw into center field. Head down and on his way. The ball just misses, hitting Lacy in the cap.
Lacy's second stolen base of the year.
Real close.
The pop-up slide, not his way to third. Now a fly ball will score him. The Ripken. Lacy runs well for a guy who's 37.
He sure does. It surprised me in spring training that he runs so well.
Pops it up. Griffin shading his eyes. Cal couldn't get the ball into the outfield. The score of Lacy. And it'll be up to Eddie Murray to get Lacy home. Eddie had 3 hits in the first game of this series, drove in 2 runs, had a couple of doubles in that game. Last night he had 2 hits, including a line drive home run into the A's bullpen.
I think we're going to begin to see clubs beginning to pitch around Eddie again, regardless of who's hitting behind him.
last 15 games, Eddie's hit .339. Trying to pick Lacy up. Breaking ball low.
Low to Eddie. For most people, it'd probably call it a strike. When you're going good, things work out well for you at the plate also. Eddie sees more junk than a normal hitter also.
Fastball in for a strike. That's an interesting statistic. 2 balls, 1 strike. Murray on this homestand is hitting .470 with 8 hits and 17 at bats.
Well, there's no doubt about him being back on track.
May not get anything good to hit.
No, absolutely not. There's no reason to.
Put him on and pitch to Lynn. Fastball, pretty good pitch to hit.
Surprised Eddie, too, I'm sure.
He was waiting for ball 4.
Yes. There's something spinning.
Full count. Yeah. He was surprised by that pitch. And now Warren walks it. That puts runners at first and third.
Just delayed the inevitable, that's all.
Warren has walked 2 in the first inning, and now will face Fred Lynn.
Freddie's no cakewalk, I'll tell you that.
He's hitless in the series, 0 for 8 through the first 2 games. And he pops it up to shallow center. Griffin backs out. And he's got it as Mike Warren, despite some control problems, works his way out of trouble. For the Orioles in the first, no runs on no hits, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. So the Orioles and the Oakland A's are scoreless after 1 inning of play from Memorial Stadium. We'll be right back. The Home Team Sports Skybox, full house this afternoon. Big party before the game on Home Team Sports Jersey Day. And the gentleman in the middle is Bill Aber, our general manager. Hello, Bill. Good to see you. Nice job. They really have done a fine job with Home Team Sports. And in just a year, we've got 92,000 subscribers.
It's a pleasant man. Met him out in the bleacher party this afternoon, along with about 1,400 kids.
You asking for a raise?
Matter of fact, I lost 4 pens. I'm so used to giving the pens back to the kids. Somebody walk up without a pen, I'd use mine and give my pen to them.
Dusty Baker leading off the second. Kids don't come prepared like they used to. When I was a kid, boy, I had a couple of pens, a regular pen and a backup, and some pads of paper. Now they come up and they ask the players for pens.
And they'll inevitably say, they'll say, could you please sign my autograph? Of course, you can really stump them because you sign their name on their ball.
You didn't really?
No, of course not. Well, a few times.
Foul ball, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Is it true that some players, when the ball's in the clubhouse, don't sign their own names? They have a clubhouse guy or somebody else sign them?
No, L. Ron Hendricks pretty well keeps track of that. I think everybody does their own job there. Unless it's a rush job.
Except for the guys who put an X on the ball.
There are none on the team that I know of that sign their name with an X.
3-2 to Dusty Baker. Dusty had a pinch hit single last night. Home run in the first game of the series. And he draws the walk. Berger's walked 2. He normally doesn't walk 2 in 9 innings.
No, that's not a good sign. Of course, it's early. No score.
Baker's aboard the leadoff walk, and now Scotty will face Dwayne Murphy.
Well, Murphy is an excellent high ball hitter, and Scotty's been up with some of his pitches today.
Murphy trying to bunt. He used to bunt quite a bit for a base hit, but he's had problems with his feet in recent years. Underwent some surgery and doesn't bunt as often as he used to.
Well, when you hit 33 home runs now, or 30 home runs or whatever, why bunt?
Yep. He hit 33 last year. Big slow curve. Where was that pitch?
It was right down the middle.
Oh.
Right over the heart of the plate.
Tim McClellan called it a ball. And it's 1-1.
Sunday afternoon call.
Should be 2. Sakata to Ripken. And on to first. Not in time. Ripken is claiming that the runner interfered with him. And I think they've called him out. It's a double play.
As well he did. Baker didn't even make an effort to slide. As a matter of fact, he didn't even go toward the base. He ran right at Cal Ripken.
Jackie Moore has come out to argue. Here comes Dusty Baker, but Greg Cost has called interference on Baker, and it's a double play.
Dusty knows he committed a sin there.
And let's take a look. Watch Baker go after Cal Ripken.
Here's a great angle right here. Perfect shot. As you can see,
I don't think there's any doubt.
Tremendous confusion on Baker's part.
You know, Dusty's lucky that Cal's a nice guy, because some shortstops would have drilled him right between the eyes.
Right in the chest. No doubt about it. An obvious infraction.
I'm amazed they're even bothering to argue. So it's a double play, 4-6-3.
Looked like he had him at first anyway.
Jackie Moore is a nice fella and an intelligent guy, but boy, he didn't have a chance on this one.
No, not with Greg Kosk out there.
Baker made no effort to slide.
No, absolutely none. There's a picture of Greg. 2 men and 1 body.
So there are 2 outs now as Murphy grounds into a double play. And Mike Heath is the batter. No score. We're in the top of the second. Well hit ball to left center field. Dwyer racing back to make the catch. In the second for the Oakland A's, no runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. Scott McGregor had a good road trip. He shut out the A's in Oakland, beat California in his last start. We asked him how important that shutout was, 3 hitting the A's in Oakland on the road trip.
I don't think the shutout was as important as just the fact that I got back to pitching, you know, like I know I can pitch. And I think that makes all the difference in the world. I mean, shutouts come and go, and you know, everything went my way that night, and I really did have good stuff that night. But the most important thing is just to get back to where you know you can help the ball club and you feel like you're in command of things. That's the thing that felt the best.
Pitching against the Oakland A's, you've had a great deal of success against them. Is there any special reason why?
No, I don't think so. Just like the Angels, it's hard to explain why you have more success against some ball clubs than others. Then maybe they're just suited for you better or what. But you just want to go out there each game. Obviously, I just want to go out and keep the team in the game and watch. And we watch the hitters, and I've watched them. You know, we've seen them for 5 games now, and the 1 game I pitched against them. So you know pretty much what they're doing, and just got to go out and execute that now.
Were you losing any of your confidence early in the season?
Well, certainly when you're not pitching well, your confidence is the big thing that really keeps you going to make you throw the pitches you know you're supposed to. When you're confident in what you're doing, and when the situation calls for a curveball, fastball, changeup, whatever, you just throw it. When you're not confident, all of a sudden you find yourself second-guess yourself. You say, well, I think I should throw a fastball here. Then you go, oh, no, wait, he's looking for that. You know, all of a sudden you start talking back and forth with yourself, and there's only one person out there, you know. And so try and get rid of that other person so you can just pitch by yourself.
Scotty McGregor.
That's very well said.
Talking to yourself.
Yes. Well, you can talk to yourself. Just don't answer your own questions.
Edward Bennett Williams, the Orioles president and owner.
The brain trust.
Jim Jim McClellan looking real pleased about being at the ballpark.
He had a real interesting evening, it looks like. Of course, he could probably drink most people under the table, it looks like, as big as he is. How else are you going to maintain your sanity in this game unless you have a few cocktails? Real deep burrows in the forehead, though. That's the only problem. They're more noticeable in the morning than in the evening.
Oh, boy.
You can always tell.
You're going to miss those road trips, aren't you? Larry Sheets leading off the second for the Orioles. Although he was held hitless last night by Don Sutton and Jay Howell, Sheets is the major's top offensive rookie so far. Since April 23rd, he's hit .338. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Appears as though he's going to put some substantial numbers on the board, too, playing all year. Hasn't lost stride a bit.
Terry Crowley, the Orioles hitting instructor, feels that maybe not this year, but in time, Sheets can be a guy who will hit 25 to 30 home runs a year for you.
I think you might see Sheets playing full time. Depends upon whether or not he wants to.
He said that in the minor leagues he had no problem with left-handed pitchers.
Well, he shouldn't have any problem here then either, Mel. The problem is that the longer he stays away from left-handed pitching, the more difficult it is going to be for him to get back into the swing of things.
Look out, almost got it. Warren is really all over the place. He's very wild.
Well, we mentioned that if these guys pitching tonight don't pitch in, they're just not going to be successful. Of course, that's quite a bit in.
Sheets didn't know which way to go. 2-2 to Larry. Will be followed by Wayne Gross and Len Sakata in the second. High fly ball foul down the left field line.
This kid has tremendous power to the opposite field.
Wayne Gross back in the lineup, facing his former team. Sheets got tied up on a breaking ball and strikes out. Pitch broke in on his hands.
You see him committing himself in the ball that breaks way in over the side of the plate. Not even close.
The bottom fell out of that pitch. Art Fowler would have been proud of that one. What if Don Sutton's been working with Warren?
Wouldn't be surprised. The perfect tutor for this staff.
The A's feel very good about having Don Sutton, not only because he's a great pitcher, but because he's very good at working with the young pitchers.
Well, he's a very articulate person who can impart what he has to say well.
Wayne Gross, who has just 3 hits in his last 33 at-bats.
He didn't play yesterday because he was ill, had a parasite or some sort. I was wondering whether or not he was still eating sashimi.
Raw fish, a Hawaiian delicacy.
I'd like to see Wayne snap out of it here.
Fastball inside, 3-1. Lenny Sakata at second base this afternoon.
With his bonsai stick.
And Gross draws a walk. That's a 3rd walk by Mike Warren in 2 innings. He walked the leadoff batter Lacey in the first. 3 batters later walked Eddie Murray, but got Lynn on a pop-up to end the inning. And you can't keep pitching like that, or pretty soon you're going to be in trouble.
Mike Keith probably trying to settle Mike Warren down. A little word of encouragement from Carney Lansford.
Coming into the game in 28 1/3 innings, he'd walked 15 batters. Lenny had a home run in the first game of the series over the left field fence, his first home run of the season. Ball 1.
You know, Lenny's probably one of the few people to wear glasses that play the game that refuses to wear the tinted type glasses, even on a bright day like this.
You wore glasses and contacts both, didn't you?
You can wear the contacts, but you can't wear the prescription glasses at the same time, of course. But yeah, depended upon what kind of a day. If it was windy and if it was cold and if it was nasty and dusty, of course, I'd wear the glasses. Nice day like this, contacts mandatory.
Tough to get those contacts in your eyes for a day game, though, after a night game. Look out, right back at us.
Hand-eye coordination, that's what it calls for on a Sunday morning.
Joe Altobelli's team 5 games back at Toronto, the most that the Orioles have trailed the Blue Jays this year. Well hit, deep left field. And it's a foul ball. He almost got another one.
It's like a breaking ball that Mike Warren got over the inside part of the plate. And Lenny had some good extension on that with those short arms in his short but powerful.
Yeah,
Talking to
just
himself.
missed it, Lenny. Hoping that Warren might throw him the same pitch. 2-2. Rafe on deck. Oh, Warren is just all over.
He doesn't have an idea, it doesn't look like. He's probably got an idea, he just can't coordinate his arm with his mind. See if he runs here.
Gross is running. Ground ball. Lansford up with it. But they stayed out of the double play by starting Gross.
Nice play by Carney. That ball stayed and hugged the ground all the way. It's hit well.
Gross advances to second on the ground out.
It's one of the advantages of always having the run on from first base on 3-1 and 3-2. You stay out of a lot of double play situations.
Floyd Rayford back in the starting lineup after going 3 for 4 in the final game of the Seattle series. And with Joe Nolan now unable to catch, Ray should see a lot of action.
I think that's good news for Floyd, bad news for Joe, of course.
Low, 1-1.
I'm not even certain if Nolan's catching in the bullpen. You see him out there, Mel?
Put the glasses on him and see. Pulled foul. Nobody throwing in the bullpen, of course, but
nice play on the guy down the line on Floyd Rayford's foul ball. A pair of hands that hit him right in the chest.
big breaking ball, and Rayford is down on strikes. Warren, despite control problems, has pitched 2 scoreless innings for the Orioles in the second. No runs, no hits, and a man left. Warren striking out 2 in the inning. The end of 2. The Orioles and the A's are scoreless. Rod Peachlow will lead it off. I'll bet you he doesn't walk.
If this guy walks today, Mel, I'll give you $20.
He's not walked in 27 at-bats. He went through all of last year without walking once. And that's why.
Let it fly.
And he's not even from the Dominican. Most of those guys that line drive base hit take that.
Why walk?
That's the first hit for the A's. In fact, the first hit of the game. First base coach Billy Williams. Fettuccine Alfredo up for the first time.
Let's see if they try to create a little action here with a hit and run play.
He laid down a squeeze bunt last night.
Gross is about as close as you're going to get in on any hitter.
Boy, he really is in.
And the way Griffin's swinging the bat, he can pull that ball. Of course, he can fly, too.
There's Gross. Popped it up. Looked like he tried to go to right field.
No trouble for Floyd.
Well, Griffin is retired in the foul pop-up, 1 out. And we go to the top of the order for Steve Henderson.
Not too happy.
Nope. Henderson grounded to second his first trip to the plate. .281 lifetime hitter. Not known for his throwing arm, though. He has a very poor throwing arm. I remember last year when he was playing for Seattle, the Orioles were playing the Mariners in the Kingdome, and the Orioles got a runner in scoring position late in the game, and the Mariners took him out in the middle of an inning. I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
That's embarrassing.
He was playing left field.
You don't see that happen very often, that's for sure. He should have refused to come out. Maybe he did. That's why he's over here.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike to Henderson. No score. Top of the 3rd inning. Very important game for the Orioles. Toronto hosting Cleveland in a doubleheader. The Orioles might lose ground even if they win, if Toronto should sweep the Indians. But if Toronto wins 2 and the Orioles should lose, the Orioles would lose a game and a half. Ground ball by Gross to second. Sakata on to first. Not in time. Well, Pichlow is forced at second on the throw from Gross to Sakata, but Henderson reaches out of fielder's choice.
Well, that's a terrific play by Wayne, too. He'll just go way over in the hole after a big hop. Relay, not quite in time.
Rob Pichlow trying to take out Sakata, who does a good job on the pivot and throw. Connie Lansford is the batter. Henderson runs well. Lansford, the American League's batting champ in 1981 when he hit .336 for the Red Sox. Scotty slipped the fastball by him.
Probably the hardest he's thrown one in quite some time. That's where he's going to be successful, too. He follows this up with an off-speed pitch, as he did last time against Lansford. He's going to create some problems for the hitters.
Line drive to Gross, and that'll end the inning. Well, McGregor gives up a leadoff single to Rob Pichlow, but that's it. No runs, a hit, and a man left. No score as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Let's see what's happening elsewhere as we check in with Tom Davis. All right, thank you, Tom. No score as we move to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Mike Warren will face the top of the order. Lee Lacy, Jim Dwyer, and Cal Ripken coming up for the Orioles. Warren, who had a fine rookie year in 1983, was 5-3 with the A's and capped it off with that no-hitter against the White Sox. He became the first rookie in 10 years to pitch a no-hitter. Ground ball to second. And Donnie Hill throws out Lacy, who's swinging at the first pitch.
Didn't waste any time that time up. Well, the diamond vision here has really created an exciting dimension for the fans. Seem to really enjoy it. It was a great investment for the ball club to make. Or the city make it. Somebody made it. Didn't grow out there, that's for sure.
A new Diamond Vision scoreboard in addition to Memorial Stadium this year. Jim Dwyer, 0 for 1, flied to right his first time up. Mike Warren has been a little wild. He's walked 3 so far, but the Orioles have been unable to score. Dwyer with a good-looking bunt. Lansford's throw, not in time.
A Rod Carew-style bunt.
The funniest thing about this play, if we see a replay, watch Mike Heath's reaction. He thought the ball was popped up. He was looking up in the air. Watch Heath. Now, you don't really see him, but he's...
He didn't see it, Mel. He had no idea where the ball was.
Well, Dwyer has the first Oriole hit, a bunt single.
Let's see it again. No, Lansford. No way. Rod Dwyer.
Cal Ripken is 0 for 1. Popped to short his first time up. Ball 1.
Jimmy hasn't been bothered by the gout since he stopped drinking the beer and eating those oysters. I told him you can drink beer and eat oysters, just don't eat 7 or 8 dozen oysters. Yes.
The shells that bother you. Good fastball by Warren. Warren was originally with the Tigers organization. They released him in 1981.
Well, he's just wild enough to be effective.
That wicked breaking pitch again. I don't know what that pitch is, but that thing's dropping about 3 feet.
It looks like a pretty hard slider. It's not his customary big sweeping curveball.
The same pitch he threw to Sheets struck him out in the second. 2-2.
There you go. You see, he fell for that ball on the inside part of the plate and was on the outside part. Way off.
Mike Warren has not won a game as a starter since he beat Toronto last April. Ground ball to third. Lansford with a good play. It's a fair ball, but Carney will have no play.
Lansford questioning umpire Rick Reed to whether or not that ball was actually fair. Of course, if it goes over the bag in fair territory, the ball's fair, of course, even though Lansford fielded the ball in foul ground. Well, you can't really tell there. Rick Reed didn't hesitate at all. Ooh.
I don't know.
Geez, I think that was probably a foul ball.
The A's aren't arguing.
No, they're not.
Lansford not saying much.
Heath is the one that would probably have the best angle on it.
So it's an infield hit for Ripken. Runners at first and second for Eddie Murray. Long drive, but hooking foul. Way upstairs.
Breaking ball right there for Eddie to turn on.
Up in that area is about where he hit that pitch by Bill Cottle earlier this year. That was a fair ball for a home run that wrapped around the foul pole and almost went clear out of the stadium. One and one.
Now shall not deter from the game plan. Another breaking ball. Just didn't get it over. Of course, Warren, not the wily veteran that Don Sutton is. He could probably deduce whether or not Eddie is sitting on something.
And he smokes it to left center field. That's between the outfielders, rolling to the fence. And it'll score a couple of runs. Eddie Murray comes through again with a double, driving in Dwyer and Ripken, and the Orioles jump out to a 2-0 lead. What a series he's having.
Looked like the ball was kind of on the inside part of the plate.
He's driven in 5 runs so far in this 3-game series.
Look at that extension. Just punched it in the left center field. Boy, hit that ball hard. Kind of curved in the gap real nicely.
RBIs 32 and 33 for Eddie Murray, and the Orioles lead 2-0. Pickoff attempt on Murray, and Warren nearly threw it into center field. He's wild even when he throws the second.
Well, Eddie's got a heck of a lead out there. He might try it again.
Fred Lynn 0 for 1, popped to second to end the first inning. Left the runner in scoring position. Lynn throughout his career has been maligned as a player who won't play with nagging injuries, but he has played in every game this year. He and Cal Ripken.
He's impressed me. I'll tell you, he's one of the probably the three hardest workers on the team. He and Lacey. I think Wayne Gross probably works extremely hard.
Griffin trying to keep Murray close. Strike two. He's helped the Orioles in so many ways. Defensively, made some tremendous plays. Had some game-winning home runs. Leads the team in stolen bases. 2-2. Orioles leading 2-0 on a 2-run double by Eddie Murray. Still only 1 out in the inning. Ground ball up the middle. Peachlow with an off-balance throw. Not in time. Murray is heading home as the ball gets away from Dusty Baker, and Eddie scores. 3-0.
Peachlow with an outstanding effort on that play. Freddie Lynn hits the ball up the middle, and Peachlow practically goes behind the bag to field it up in the air and throws wheels to first base. Up. Let's see what Dusty Baker does here.
Didn't catch it.
No, he probably should have come off the bag.
Somebody's got to be charged with an error on that one, either Baker or Peachlow on the throw. Peachlow will be charged with a throwing error. It's a base hit for Lynn, no run batted in. Charged Peachlow with a throwing error. And Jackie Moore has come out to the mound as the Orioles have now opened up a 3-0 lead with 4 straight hits off Mike Warren.
A 1 ball hit to the wall and 3 infield hits.
Got a left-hander warming up in the Oakland bullpen. Jeff Kaiser is getting loose. Dwyer got it started with a bunt single. Ripken with an infield hit. And a 2-run double by Murray, and Lynn with a single. And we're going to get a pitching change. Oh, Jackie Moore is not fooling around.
No, he's not. Not with the way McGregor has pitched in the past 2 games.
So Mike Warren is knocked out in the 3rd inning. He worked 2 1/3 innings, was charged with 3 runs on 4 hits. The hits came consecutively in this inning. He walked 3, struck out 2.
He's failed in another starting assignment. It's got to be pretty depressing for this young kid.
Hasn't won a game as a starter since April of last year when he beat Toronto.
And Wes Stock with no words of encouragement.
Jeff Kaiser worked an inning Friday in the first game of this series, won by the Orioles 9-2. He gave up 2 runs, 1 of them earned on 1 hit, walked 2, struck out 1. Scotty McGregor cooling off in the Oriole dugout with a 3-0 lead. And he will be tough to beat. Well, Jeff Kaiser takes over.
Jeff, fastball, breaking ball mainly. It's been in 10 games. His ERA practically matches the number of games he's been in, though.
A little high, 8.53.
That doesn't translate into too much success for a relief pitcher.
The team ERA is 5.12. which indicates the type of pitching problems the A's have had, particularly with starting pitching. They're okay on the short relief side with Jay Howell, but they've had trouble getting to Howell.
Looks good. Tried to get one of those out in the bullpen party this afternoon. The line was about 4 blocks long.
Well, they really had a crowd out there for that party. Another good-sized crowd here at Memorial Stadium. First game of the series drew 32,023 last night. 32,646. Another big crowd today on Home Team Sports Jersey Day. Jeff Kaiser coming in to face Larry Sheets, who will get a rare at bat against the left-handed pitcher. The Orioles leading 3-0. We're in the third inning. 4 straight hits to chase starter Mike Warren. Fred Lynn at first, the responsibility of Warren. Sheets drills one to left. Steve Henderson is back to make the catch.
Sheets heading off the left-hander, but of course in that case you don't rush to your bench just to run somebody up there who can swing right-handed, because of one reason. You're leading, and they have Jay Howe in the bullpen, and you might need that left-handed swinger a little later in the game.
Wayne Gross will also face the left-hander. He walked his first time up. Gross actually, in his last few years with Oakland, played more first base than he did third base.
I don't think the degree of difficulty is that great at either one of those positions.
You played them both, haven't you?
Certainly have.
And that infamous game against Toronto, you played second base.
Infamous is right. Dusty Baker playing behind Freddie Lynn at first base.
2-0 to Gross.
Wayne is a notorious pull hitter. Even with Kaiser on the mound, they're shading the pull.
And Lynn is running. Grounded foul.
Only about 20 feet foul.
Freddie has 4 stolen bases this year. Two balls, 1 strike for Wayne Gross. Lynn's best stolen base year was in 1976 with the Red Sox when he stole 14. He had only 2 all of last year with the Angels.
Well, him taking off to second base just a second ago has moved Dusty Baker back to the bag.
Which will help Wayne Gross. Orioles 3, Oakland nothing. Bottom of the third. Jeff Kaiser in relief from Mike Warren. Breaking ball high. Full count to Gross. So Lynn will be running. Foul ball, fumbled by Baker, and he underhands to Kaiser covering. Not a good inning for the Orioles as they pick up 3 runs on 4 hits. 1 error and a runner left. At the end of 3, the Orioles lead the Oakland A's 3-0.
Had returned to Baltimore, put 2 Robbies in the mix, and by 1966, the Orioles had put
The Orioles are winding up a 3-game series against the Oakland A's this afternoon. Tomorrow night, the California Angels come to town to begin a 3-game series, and Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll bring you those games from Memorial Stadium. The Angels with Reggie Jackson pay their first visit here, and you can catch all the action beginning at 7 p.m. Tuesday and Wednesday nights right here on Home Team Sports, the channel you cheer for. The Angels in first place in the American League West.
Should be an exciting series.
Known as the Over-the-Hill Gang or the Wheeze Kids.
The only club that can field another club on the DL list, too.
It's amazing they've stayed in first place with all the injuries they've had to Carew and to Cincé and several pitchers. Kent Force, Jeff Zahn disabled.
That shows you how important these other guys are to the club.
Mike Davis will lead it off. He walked his first time up. Davis comes from a very athletic family. His father, John, played basketball with Bill Russell at McClymonds High School in Oakland. His mother played in the women's softball leagues for many years. Brother John was a great athlete in San Diego at Hoover High School. In fact, he was a better athlete than Mike. And his younger brother, Mark, is a center fielder at Stanford, and he will go very high in the draft.
Well, Michael, he credits Billy Williams with a great deal of his success. Billy has said Michael's become much more disciplined as a hitter.
Pops it up. Ripken calling for it. The Major League pop-up.
That's what we're watching right here. It's like the sun's starting to come out, too.
Clouds beginning to dissipate. It's tough today if you're an infielder and outfielder.
Sure, you can see Rip squinting out there.
We're squinting up here, but for different reasons. Dave Kingman flied to center field his first trip to the plate. Dave's squinting.
Yes, he's peering underneath the bill of that helmet.
Still waiting for his wake-up call. High fly ball. Lynn calling off Jim Dwyer, and look out.
Freddie got a little adventurous. As a matter of fact, he's standing in the middle of left field right now.
Well, it's the center fielder's ball if he gets to it, if he calls for it, but how's Dwyer going to catch anything if Lynn takes everything in left?
Look at Jimmy surging. I got it.
2 outs, and here's Dusty Baker, who walked leading off the second, then was erased on a double play as he was guilty of interference, trying to take out Ripken at second. Breaking ball is high to Dusty. If this Oakland club can just get some starting pitching, they're going to be in business. They've got that, that good mix of veterans like Baker and Kingman, and then some good young players like Donnie Hill and guys like that.
That's exactly what Bruce Bochy said a couple days ago.
Gross in foul ground, and an easy inning for Scott McGregor as the A's go in order. Scotty pitching well. He's allowed only 1 hit, a single by Rob Peaslow in the third. Well, it's Home Team Sports Jersey Day, so let's throw it to the public address announcer, Chris Ely. Well, it is Home Team Sports Jersey Day. Take my word for it. There we go. Hope they don't throw the jerseys.
Those won't go.
No, they're too valuable. Easy, kids.
Having a good time. I think I saw those kids before the game. What's that? Muppet?
Cabbage Patch doll wearing an Oriole visor and a jersey of some sort.
How about that? Looks like it had cancer.
Is that Pat Kelly? No.
I don't think so.
Looks just like him. Is the Reverend in attendance this afternoon? He's probably preaching.
Never on a Sunday. Never here on Sunday.
Thought maybe he was moonlighting as an usher. The collection plate hasn't been producing. There we are, just having a great time on a Sunday afternoon. Mel Proctor along with John Lowenstein. We hope you're enjoying the game wherever you're watching, whether you be in the Stickenstein in El Segundo or a tavern elsewhere in this great country or at home. Lenny Sakata leading off the fourth for the Orioles. Facing Jeff Kaiser, who came in relief of Mike Warren in the third. The A's from here will go to New York and face the Yankees for 3 games. That's drilled deep to left. But it's foul again. Second time he's just missed a homer.
Lenny 2 for 2 on just misses. Looks like Lenny's real happy about it, too. That's why they call him happy. He never smiles. Only on rare occasions.
He was smiling the other night when he hit that home run.
Yes, he was.
Fastball in for a strike, and down he goes. First strikeout for Kaiser. Looked like Lenny was guessing breaking ball and got fastball instead.
And here it is. You can see the ball. He probably didn't think it was a strike. Didn't look like he'd reach it.
Floyd Rayford struck out his first time up.
Floyd's the kind of hitter that you've got to change speeds on. The slower, the better. Just kind of commits himself on that front foot quite often.
One ball, one strike to Rafe.
Very intense competitor.
Rafe hit in 5 different positions in the batting order last year for the Orioles. Even led off one game. Became only the second Oriole catcher ever to hit in that leadoff spot. Kurt Blefary did it in 1968. Joe tried everybody in the leadoff spot last year.
Well, you look at Rafe, you don't think he can run, but this kid can really motor.
High fly ball down the right field line. A long run for Mike Davis. And he makes the catch. Boy, can he cover the ground. He made that look fairly easy.
Yes, he did. Well, even without Henderson out there, this club hasn't lost anything in the area that they can cover in the outfield.
Well, they've got a Henderson out there. It's just the wrong one. It's Steve instead of Ricky. Lee Lacy has walked and grounded out. And he's swinging at the first pitch. Heath battling the sun, having trouble, but he's got it. And Jeff Kaiser sets the Orioles down in order. We've completed 4 innings from Memorial Stadium. The Orioles leading 3-0 as they scored all 3 runs in the 3rd inning with 4 consecutive hits off Mike Warren. And with the score, the Orioles 3, the A's nothing. This is the Home Team Sports Television Network. Mel Proctor with John Lowenstein at Memorial Stadium, where the Orioles lead the Oakland A's 3-0 in the final game of this 3-game series. This cablecast is being presented under rights granted by the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles reserve and retain all copyrights in the exhibition of its games, and any retransmission or other use of the pictures, accounts, or descriptions of this game without the express consent of the Baltimore Orioles is strictly prohibited. Scotty McGregor working on a 1-hit shutout. He blanked the A's on 3 hits in Oakland, winning 3-0, and that really turned him around. He had physical problems. He was suffering from blurred vision. They put him through a series of tests and found that it might have been an allergy. They thought maybe he was drinking a little too much coffee in the clubhouse before the games, that the caffeine was affecting him, so he cut back on the coffee, and then he had a couple of weak spots in his pitching arm and his shoulder and another one in his forearm, and they've got him doing some weightlifting to strengthen that, so he seems to be on the right track now.
Well, it's a matter of mechanics and also your psychological approach to the game.
Ray Miller once told me that Scotty has the perfect makeup for a pitcher. His ability to handle adversity. Nothing bothers him when he's pitching. Doesn't get rattled. Slow curve, a beauty, and first strike.
Kidding. Well, that's Scotty's strong point. Mannerism.
All business out there.
Likes his sweets, though.
Murphy pops it up. Here comes Rayford.
Hot fudge ice cream cake. That's a big favorite.
McGregor's.
The one is great, but you know, you sit down and have 3 of them.
Doesn't put on any weight either. Murphy's telling Rayford, please don't call for that curveball again.
If you do, get it a little inside and up.
Fastball drilled, but Sakata backhands it and throws him out. Nice play, Lenny. 2 good plays he's made today.
You talk about somebody that can cover some ground. Lenny can. Quick as a cat.
He's never been an everyday player, and he's picked up that label as a guy who, if you play him every day, he'll wear down and not be as effective. Do you think that's maybe a bad rap?
Well, it's not true. How can it be true? He's never played every day. It's nothing but speculation.
Mike Heath comes through with a base hit. That's the second hit off Scott McGregor. Funny how guys pick up labels in this game.
I'm not sure who placed the label upon him.
That's what I've always heard about him. You know, a part-time player, because that's the way he's been used.
Part-time player, but very dependable. Probably one of the most difficult things next to pinch hitting late in the game in a game-winning situation is playing defense when your team's up by a run or two.
Rob Peachlow steps in. Nice stop by Rayford.
You sit on the bench for 7 or 8 innings, and the manager says, why don't you go out there and play second base for this guy I'm pinch hitting for? And you're up by a run, you're out there cold up off the bench.
Rayford managed to keep the ball in front of him and prevents Heath from advancing. Sakata can't quite get this one. A soft liner into right field. And that puts runners at first and second.
Thou shalt not walk again.
He's 2 for 2 is Rob Peachlow. The A's now have 3 hits.
Eddie talking to Rob at first base. I know what he's saying. Try walking one time, pal.
Alfredo Griffin popped up to the catcher his first time up.
Doing his Rico Cardi imitation.
Strike one. That big bender in for a strike.
A little difficult to duck that pitch.
Thanks to Rico and Alfredo Griffin attended the same high school in the Dominican Republic.
I think they're neighbors.
Good-looking bunt by Griffin. Gross has got to hurry, and he has no play as the A's have loaded the bases.
Well, we knew that Alfredo was capable of laying down those kinds of bunts.
3 straight hits off McGregor.
Probably got real tired of popping up. Look at Wayne. You can see where Wayne's playing way back behind the base. No chance.
Well, he was playing awfully deep.
Yes, he was. For somebody that can bunt. He tried to sucker the runner in that's coming in third base, even if he's going to round the bag. And no dice.
Well, the hit totals are even, 4 hits apiece. And McGregor trying to work himself out of a bases-loaded jam with only 1 out. Steve Henderson is grounded to second and reached down a fielder's choice.
Talk about a terrific backup for the current starting crop of outfielders. Henderson fits right in. Well, our Ian Collins must be platooning then, huh?
Well, Collins had been playing every day. Henderson played some when Mike Davis missed 4 games with a pulled hamstring. Now McGregor in trouble as he falls behind 2-0. The Orioles lead 3-0, but Scotty running into a jam for the first time.
7, 8, and 9 hitters have put him in a bind here.
He needs a double play ball. Strike one. Henderson. Lifetime against McGregor hitting .095. 2 hits and 21 at-bats coming into this game. So it's even lower than that now. He's 2 for 23, including the 2 at-bats today. Out of play.
Scotty moving the ball around real well. Keeping the ball away. Throwing it in. Mixing his pitches up well.
Mike Heath, the lead runner at third. Rob Peachlow at second. Alfredo Griffin at first. Good speed on the bases. All 3 run better than average.
It's not unlikely that a base hit in the gap would score 3 runs.
And it will be tough to turn a double play as well as Griffin and Henderson both run. Ground ball to Ripken. To Sakata for 1, and they turn it. What a pivot and throw by Sakata, who was leveled by Alfredo Griffin, but still made a great throw.
And Alfredo was taking some liberties at first base. He was off a mile. He was on top of Sakata almost when he just got the ball. Here's a play into Holt and Ripken. Watch this. Yes.
Sakata, like an acrobat, turns the double play for the A's. No runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left, so it's still the Orioles 3, the A's nothing. And let's again go down to Tom Davis. All right, Tom, as we look at Jackie Moore and pitching coach Wes Stock of the Oakland A's, the Orioles will send up a pinch hitter. Gary Renicky will bat for Jim Dwyer. Renicky played in the first game of the series on Friday and went 2 for 3, including a double off the leg of pitcher Bill Kruger that shot out into right field.
It's a nice kickball. Looks like Toronto's taking it seriously this year.
Playing hardball. I think, you know, before last year, teams might not have been that concerned if a club opened up a 5 or 6 game lead, but they saw what happened last year with the Tigers going 35-5, and they know it's capable of happening again. Johnny Hill makes the catch on Renicky, 1 out. Toronto's problem last year was losing games in the late innings. They didn't have a stopper out of the bullpen, but they've got a couple of them now with Bill Cottle and Gary Lavelle, and the most effective of the relievers has been Jim Acker.
Yes, even though Gary Lavelle and Bill Cottle haven't pitched that effectively yet, they're out there. And the season is long, and you know they're going to be effective.
Curveball in for a strike. Ripken beat out an infield hit in the 3rd and scored on Eddie Murray's 2-run double. The Orioles lead 3-0, bottom of the 5th. Jeff Kaiser played collegiately at Western Michigan, where he set a school record with 25 wins. He was drafted by Toronto in 1981 but didn't sign, and was the A's 10th round pick in 1982 in June. He has retired all 5 hitters he's faced. Make it all 6 hitters.
Yes, you see an 8 or 9 game lead by the All-Star break, Mel, and they probably won't be headed.
Well, if they sweep a doubleheader today, and if the Orioles should lose, they'd be 6.5 up. The Orioles in good shape right now, leading by 3 runs. Well hit to right. Davis coming in a hurry, and it drops in front of him for a hit. Second hit today for Ripken. And the first off Jeff Kaiser.
And Davis is the only outfielder out of the 3 that are out there that probably doesn't play near as shallow as the starting group of outfielders do. Had that ball been in the center field, Murphy would have caught that eye level.
Eddie Murray has walked and doubled in 2 runs. Having a great series. He's driven in 5 runs in this 3-game series against Oakland. Takes a strike. Eddie is a right-handed batter hitting .308. On the left side hitting .267, but he has twice as many at-bats on the left side. 1-1.
Which explains the inactivity of Dan Ford. You don't see a plethora of left-handers on the mound, you're not going to see too much action from Danny.
Whoa. Big swing.
Eddie had one thing in mind.
Downtown. Just missed it.
What bat speed through the strike zone. And that will produce your home run.
One into right center field. Ripken on his way to 3rd. Mike Davis' throw is cut off, and they got Murray hung up. Dusty Baker runs Eddie back. Oh! Now they're not going to get anybody. Well, the pitcher, Kaiser, was covering home plate.
What he was doing was, if there wasn't a backup play behind 3rd base, Kaiser was going to come to the plate. There was nobody to cover at first base. Eddie hitting the ball off the fists. Ripken motoring around to 3rd base. Eddie thinking perhaps the ball was going to go over the cutoff man, and Eddie went halfway to 2nd base and got caught in no man's land again.
Here's Ripken advancing to third. Back to live action. The first pitch to Fred Lynn is a ball. Runners at first and third with one out as the Orioles are threatening again. The A's had Eddie Murray hung up between first and second, but couldn't get him. Foul ball.
Boy, Eddie's got it all working for him now.
He's 2 for 2 today. With 3 for 5 in the first game, 2 for 4 last night, including a home run, and 2 for 2 today. Having a tremendous series is Murray. 2-1 to Lynn. Freddie has popped to second and singled. Low, 3-1. It appears that Tim McClelland is not calling the low strike.
Much to his dismay.
Time called. Murray wants to have a little chat with Jimmy Williams about something.
Yes, conferring with Williams as to whether or not he is going to be running on this 3-1 pitch.
He is not running. And Lynn draws a walk. Well, you remember what happened earlier on this homestand, a similar situation. Runners at first and third. The Orioles started a runner. Lynn took a strike, and Ripken got thrown out at second, and Lynn struck out, and that ended what could have been a very big inning.
Yeah, I think it was a surprise to Lynn that that Rip was running on that play, because that ball that you're referring to, Mel, is a ball that outside over the outside part of the plate that Lynn handles really well, but the shortstop flashing him behind the pitcher probably confused him.
Larry Sheets drills one into left field. The rookie comes through again. Ripken scores. Murray is heading home, and it's 5-0 Orioles. What a year Larry Sheets is having.
Well, he's making a case for himself for full-time employment.
Driving in 2 runs with a single off a left-handed pitcher, Jeff Kaiser. And it's now 5-0 Orioles. Ripken scoring the first run, and here's Eddie Murray bringing home the second to make it 5-0. That had to feel good for Sheets. The rare appearance against the left-hander, you betcha.
Oh, boy.
5 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Orioles, no runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for Oakland. And Kaiser falls behind Gross. You better be careful here.
This is Wayne's pitch right here if his kid lays a fastball in there. Of course, Mike Heath knows Wayne Gross, too.
And he drills it deep to right. Back, gone. Wayne Gross, the former Oakland A, comes back to haunt his old club with a 3-run homer as the Orioles have blown this wide open. They lead 8-0.
Boy, a pitch right there for Wayne to handle. Look at the extension and power on that swing. Had this been a much closer game, there's no way that they would have given Wayne Gross that pitch to hit. He lives on that.
Well, Kaiser had pitched well into this inning. He retired the first 6 hitters he faced, then gave up singles to Cal Ripken and Eddie Murray, walked Fred Lynn. Larry Sheets doubled in 2 runs, and then Wayne Gross hits a 3-run homer to give the Orioles an 8-0 lead. We're going to get a pitching change.
Well, that 8+ ERA is skyrocketed.
Kaiser worked 2 innings. He allowed 5 runs on 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 1, gave up a 3-run homer to Wayne Gross. 4th home run of the season for Gross. And here's Tom Tellman, the new pitcher.
Tom Tellman, formerly from Milwaukee, throws the ball hard, changes speeds on his curveball, throws a changeup. I'm surprised they got this guy. He throws well.
He was released by the Brewers in spring training, and he was shocked because he had a good year last year.
Well, he should have been shocked. I'll tell you what shocked me also, the release of Dave Beard from the Mariners.
Well, Jackie Moore sees his team down 8-0.
Oh, there's no way they're going to get back into this game the way Scotty McGregor's pitching.
Tillman throws a fastball about 87, 88 miles per hour. He'll turn the ball over. Curveball, slider, changeup. Changes speeds well. Needs to keep the ball low to be effective. He was used primarily as a setup man for Raleigh Fingers in Milwaukee.
He's pretty. He's curled his hair. He looks good.
Didn't you have an afro or one of those perms at one time?
I lost that in Japan on this last trip. We made a victorious tour throughout the entire
I guess you
island.
don't call it an afro in your case. It'd be a perm, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. There's some happy people from Oakland. Mon Pa Kettle, it looks like.
Edward Bennett Williams chatting with our boss, Bill Aber. E.B. Duffy trying to figure out a way to get a few more bucks out of Home Team Sports. Only kidding. I need to work. Dick Butler, the supervisor of umpires.
He's wide awake.
Oh, it's 8-0 Orioles. As Tillman goes to work on Len Sakata with the bases empty thanks to Wayne Gross' 3-run homer. Tillman working from the stretch with nobody on. Strike one.
Greg Kosk, the umpire at second base, backs up any further. We just give him a glove and let him play out there.
Tillman began the year at Tacoma in the Pacific Coast League. Appeared in 5 games, had 1 save. There's Greg Kosk. Strike 2, 1-2.
This guy throws the ball well. They can certainly utilize him on this club.
Ground is foul. He gets a lot of ground balls because he keeps the ball low and sinks it.
Another guy that stretches with nobody on. They got to outlaw that now.
Does that bother you as a hitter when a guy comes in with nobody on base and works from the stretch? Is that kind of distracting? Sakata with a line drive to Dusty Baker for the second out.
It doesn't distract only if he looks to the base that's unoccupied. There's nobody on base. And
who was doing that the other night? Remember, somebody came in, a reliever working from the stretch with nobody on, and came to set position and looked to first base.
Most of the Mariner pitching staff does that.
Of course, they're used to having guys on.
That's why they look, exactly.
Floyd Rayford is struck out, flied to right. Ground ball to third. Carly Lansford has it. And Tillman comes in to retire Sakata and Rayford, but a big inning for the Orioles as they get 5 more runs. On 4 hits, the big blow, a 3-run homer by Wayne Gross. Nobody left on base. At the end of 5, the Orioles are cruising 8-0 over the Oakland A's.
Baseball and the O's.
Mel Proctor with John Lowenstein at Memorial Stadium. The Orioles enjoying a laugher this afternoon, leading Oakland 8-0. Gary Rudicke stays in the game to play left field for the Orioles. And Scotty McGregor with an 8-run lead. Perhaps could continue and pitch another shutout as he did in Oakland.
Something Scotty, I'm sure, is glad to see. He's not used to club scoring all these runs for him.
By the way, at the conclusion of this half inning, we're going to try something rather unique. We're going to be taking some phone calls during the game.
Yeah, that ought to be great.
We'll be giving you that phone number shortly. There's Renick now on the left, taking over for Jim Dwyer. So if you want to call up and ask a question about today's game or something that's on your mind, give us a call. We'll give you that phone number a little later. We're going to try it. It's something different as far as I know. No one else has tried it.
No one may try it after this.
We'll see. Brother Lowe is going to take the phone calls. I'm going to leave for a while.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
We'll both be here. Carney Lansford leading off the sixth for the Oakland A's. Lansford has bounced to the pitcher and lined to third.
Carney getting some action down at third base today, too.
Swung right over the top of that pitch. Missed it by 2 feet.
Sure, Scotty took quite a bit off of that pitch. Carney thinking to himself.
Scotty gives you that big motion. Very deceptive.
That's where he was having his problems earlier in the year. His changeup and fastball were practically the same speed. And of course, that poses no advantage at all if you're a pitcher.
It's hard to pick the ball up with his motion. He comes across his body, and you really don't see the ball until the last instant. Gives you a little knee and a glove.
And you don't need the radar gun when Scotty's on the mound.
3-1 to Lansford. Carney was acquired from the Boston Red Sox, and deal with sent Tony Armas to Boston. Line drive right to Murray. 1 out. One out in the sixth. The A's loaded the bases in the fifth inning, but Scotty got Henderson to ground into a double play to end the inning. That's as close as they've come to a run. Well, Lansford is retired. Mike Davis up for the third time. He's walked, popped to short. And he swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Sakata in foul ground has it. 2 down. Why would a guy come up with his team trailing 8-0 and swing at the first pitch?
Well, that's one of the ways to get something started, Mel. Scotty's not going to walk too many people, as you mentioned earlier. And it looks like Davis hangs in there pretty well against a left-handed pitcher anyway. It doesn't really make any difference. You're leading by 8 runs. Why not swing the bat? We can all leave earlier. They're not going to win the game anyway. And I think they know it.
Stranger things have happened?
Yes, they have.
You're right. They're not going to win.
Looks like Dave's real happy to be playing Sunday afternoon.
Twice he has flied to center. That's just one hit of the series. Ground ball to third. A long throw. And Gross throws him out easily.
Good. Super fine play by Wayne Gross behind the bag at third base. Took a nasty hop, too.
Lee Lacy leading off for the Orioles, and we'll continue to take some calls. Hello, you're on the air.
I just wanted to say I'm glad that Lomo's doing the color commentary, and I'd love to see Lomo and Brooks on there together sometime. That would be the best game you ever had.
Get John Lowenstein and Brooks Robinson together?
Yes, doing the commentary.
That would be a combination.
That would be a scream.
We'll see what happens. I don't think Brooks shows up till about 7:20 on night games, so it might be a little difficult to include him in the broadcast.
Well, what you'd have to do is give him the class you want to give Todd Cruz.
Ground ball to first, and Dusty Baker has it to Ty Lacy. Thank you for your call. All right, 1 out as Lacy grounds to first. And let's take another call. Hello there, you're on the air.
Hello, John.
Yes.
This is a big fan of yours. I've been a fan of yours since you come to Baltimore. And I think you've done a great job since you've been here.
Well, that's great to hear. Mel Proctor makes it easy for me.
I've really got a big charge out of you since you've been on Home Team Sports.
Well, that's terrific. I'm glad things are working out.
Yeah, it's nice talking to you.
My
All right,
pleasure.
thank you for your call. Gary Renicky up for the second time. He popped to second in the fifth. The Orioles lead 8-0. Mel Proctor along with John Lowenstein bringing you the baseball game and doing a talkathon at the same time. Let's take another call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, this is Susan.
Could you speak up, please? We're having difficulty hearing you.
Yes, this is for John Lowenstein.
Okay.
Okay, this is Susan, and we just want to say that you are a fantastic announcer.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Okay.
I think Mel's the announcer and I'm the color commentator, but thanks for the compliment, that's for sure. You're not calling from the lounge in Cockeysville, are you?
No, I don't think so right now. But
Good.
you put a lot of color into it, a lot of humor, and it's fairly enjoyed, and you look very handsome all dressed in your suit.
I think this whole thing was a setup. Thank you for your call. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count to Renicky. Let's take another phone call. Hello, you're on the air. Hello there.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you all know you're doing a super job. Love Home Team Sports and love you, Orioles.
Great, thank you for your call.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so long. And there's our score. The Orioles leading 8-0. So a good day to take some phone calls. Full count to Gary Renicky. 1 out. Bottom of the 6th. Tom Tillman, the third pitcher used by the A's. Grounded foul. Let's try another call. Hello, you're on the air.
Yes, I'd like to just say that John Lowenstein, I'm really enjoying listening to him doing the color on Home Team Sports.
All righty.
What else can you say? Thank you very much.
By the way, John, your fan club stopped by before the game, and the fellow said he'd be back tomorrow. Foul ball.
Of course, I know that's a fib because I don't have a fan club. Although I'm looking down at the dugout right now at the great white Buddha, Ralph Salvans, sitting on his perch.
3-2 to Renicky. Struck him out. Tillman with a good changeup. 0-2 down. Let's take another call. There he is.
Hasn't moved, yes.
What's he telling you to get out there? A smorgasbord's best friend, Ralph Salvans.
You're right.
Cal Ripken up with 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th. The Orioles leading 8-0.
It's like being caught in between a sandwich here. You got Marr on the right. You got Ralph in the dugout.
Let's try another phone call, John. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, I just wanted to say that Cal Ripken and Eddie Murray and Floyd Rayford are my favorite players.
All right, they'll be glad to hear that.
I'll be sure to relate that to him after the game.
Back through the middle, and Ripken continues to hit his 3rd hit of the game, and that's a good sign because he had come into this game with only 5 hits in his last 43 at-bats, and he's 3 for 4 today.
It's encouraging to see. We got to limit the callers to at least 4 or 5 years old, don't we, Mel?
Have an age limit. Let's try one more call. Hello, you're on the air. Hello there.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, fine. How are you?
Good.
I just wanted to ask John Lowenstein, that's why I called, to tell him what a good job he's been doing, and we enjoyed the whole weekend listening to him on Home Team Sports. And how come he's paying people to say that? When people would say it for nothing.
Well, those are indicative of the comments that I've heard this past week, and I'm real happy to hear them. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Eddie Murray takes a strike. Ripken at first with a 2-out single. The Orioles have 9 hits today off 3 different Oakland pitchers.
This is being piped in the clubhouse. They're probably getting sick of hearing this
Maybe we'll
garbage.
get a call from one of the Orioles.
Those comments are real nice.
1 ball, 1 strike to Murray.
No sense in being careful. He got nothing to lose.
Murray's 2 for 2, a double, a single. He scored 2 runs and driven in 2. Well hit to left center field, but Murphy with a good jump on the ball still can't get it. 1 hop to defense. Ripken is being waved home. And that Quinella combination is paying off today. Ripken and Murray. It's now 9-0 Orioles. Eddie Murray with his 3rd RBI of the game, his 6th run batted in this 3-game series.
They get the 1-2 punch out of these guys, and they're going to be unbeatable. Dwayne Murphy playing another shallow center field, even with the power hitter Murray at the plate. Like you run about 60, 70 feet just to get there.
Cal Ripken has scored 3 runs to go along with his 3 hits. And Eddie Murray's now 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs.
Doing us a big favor by not bouncing out of the park, because that would have been a ground rule double and Ripken wouldn't have scored. Of course, we don't need these runs anyway.
It's now 9-0 Orioles. In the final game of the Seattle series, they scored 8 runs. They beat Oakland 9-2 in the first game of this series. Last night, were held to 1 run by Don Sutton and Jay Howell, but back on the beam today, piling up 9 runs on 10 hits.
You know, historically, I don't think the Orioles have really responded well on Sunday afternoon games, but today, geez.
Tillman throws out Fred Lind and the inning. But the Orioles pick up another run on 2 hits. We'll be back to take some more phone calls after this break with the score. The Orioles 9, the Oakland A's nothing. This is the Home Team Sports Television Network. Dusty Baker leading off the 7th for the Oakland A's against Scott McGregor, who's allowed only 4 hits. Let's take another call. Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi. My name's Tom Cole from Wilmington, Delaware. First of all, I want to say John Lowenstein's doing a great job.
Okay, can you speak up, please? We're having difficulty hearing you.
Yeah, sure. My question is to either one of you. I was wondering about expansion in the American League, whether it will happen in the near future. What cities do you think might be the next franchise?
What do you think, John? Will there be expansion within the next couple of years in the American League?
I think there has to be expansion, but I think it's going to come in the National League. There are too many sites available throughout the country that desire professional baseball, that need it. Denver immediately comes to mind, and Vancouver, and even Scottsdale, Phoenix area. But I think it's for the National League.
And Washington, D.C. certainly.
Certainly.
1-2, the count to Dusty Baker. He'll be followed by Dwayne Murphy and Mike Heath facing Scott McGregor, who's pitching another strong game. Oh, my.
Oh, boy. Big, slow rainbow curve.
That's the first strikeout today for Scotty.
Look at him wrap that thing around his ear and throw it. Probably about 60 miles an hour at that. Look at Dusty. Where is the ball?
Scotty has fed Dwayne Murphy a steady diet of breaking balls today. He's grounded into a double play and grounded out. Hit deep to right. And the shutout in jeopardy as Lacy backs up, and it's gone. So McGregor loses his shutout with 1 out in the 7th as Murphy wallops his 7th home run of the year.
Well, Murphy knew that ball was gone and went as high as it went far.
McGregor has given up 12 home runs. That's tops on the staff.
This guy's got a beautiful swing. Watch this. Boom. He knows it's out of here.
He hit 33 of them last year.
Summoned straight down.
So it's now 9-1 as McGregor loses the shutout. If you're trying to call in, we are not going to take any more calls, but if you're waiting, if you're on hold, stay with us. We'll be getting to you in just a moment. Mike Heath pops it up, and Cal Ripken has it. Let's take some more calls. Hello, you're on Home Team Sports. Thank you for waiting. Hello there.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? What can we do for you?
Maybe you can tell me why Alfredo Griffin is wearing.
Why is Alfredo Griffin?
Oh, is he married?
Why he's wearing one sleeve.
Why is Alfredo Griffin wearing one sleeve?
3, 4.
Don't look at me.
I can answer that.
We'll put you on hold, sir, and we'll call Alfredo in the dugout. I don't know. I think when he came to the plate, I think he had a longer sleeve on his throwing arm. I don't know. Don't have an answer for you.
Well, I can see him standing down there right now. He's absolutely right.
Wait a minute. Let me get his attention. Excuse me, Alfredo. Now we don't know. You got us stumped on that one.
Simon, what I can do for you?
Rob Peachlow is 2 for 2. Let's try one more phone call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Fine. We're calling from Woodlawn, and I think you, Mel and John, make an excellent team. And even though John's telling us a lot of stuff about the other players, I wish he'd tell us some personal things about himself.
Well, that's good. Lee Lacy making a great catch.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you for your call. What a play
good.
by Lee Lacy, ruining Rob Peachlow's perfect afternoon. Peachlow was 2 for 2, but Lacy robs him of a base hit. The A's pick up a run on Dwayne Murphy's home run. We thank all of you for your phone calls, and we'll try it again maybe on our next game Tuesday. Here at Memorial Stadium, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Well, the California Angels come in for 3 beginning tomorrow, and the Red Sox close out this homestand with a 3-game series over the weekend. The Orioles then go on the road for 3 in Detroit and come back home against Milwaukee and the Yankees. That should be a well-attended series with New York on the 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Well, they're going to do well attendance-wise.
Larry Sheets is doing well. He singled in 2 runs in the 5th inning, facing a left-hander, Jeff Kaiser. Now facing Tom Tillman. Got under that one. Murphy with the glasses down. 1 out. Mike Gallego is now playing second base for the A's. Bob Peachlow has moved to shortstop. And Griffin has come out of the game, probably looking for that other sleeve.
That's pretty observant by that fan.
Sure was. That was kind of fun. That was something different.
Well, it worked out well with the way the score is today now.
Wayne Gross, a 3-run homer in the 5th inning. Kaiser got behind the count, laid a pitch in, and Gross hit it out.
Well, he sure did. Right in his wheelhouse.
And he hits another one deep to right. Way back. Davis climbs the fence, but it's gone. Wayne Gross is flexing his muscles against his former team with 2 home runs and 4 runs batted in. It's now 10-1 Orioles.
His response has been magnificent against his former teammates. Look at this cut. Boom. Wayne knows that ball's gone. Davis had some problems seeing the ball. Didn't make any difference anyway.
The Orioles have now hit 58 home runs, tops in the major leagues, as Gross accepts congratulations. And it's 10-1 Orioles. Lenny Sakata, a diving stop by Lansford, and he throws him out on a close play.
Geez, Lenny really got robbed there.
Great play by Carney Lansford. He's a gamer. He plays hard regardless of the score.
Very quiet, very unassuming. His bat through the top, and all of his defensive play.
2 outs. Floyd Rayford up for the 4th time. He struck out, flied to right, and grounded to 3rd.
Sugar Bear, as they so fondly call him. Well, they call him several other things, too.
With 10 runs on 11 hits. The A's with 1 run on 5 hits. The only Oakland run came on a home run by Dwayne Murphy. 1-2 to Rafe.
Continuing to take something off the pitches they're serving up there to Floyd. He has trouble with the off-speed pitches. He leans into everything.
Just managed to foul it off.
Another slow spinning ball.
Mike Warren started the game. He was knocked out in the 3rd inning. He gave up 3 runs. Kaiser worked 2 innings and was tagged for 5 runs. Tellman has given up 2 runs. And Tellman may be hurt.
I was talking to Pat Santarone yesterday. He absolves the mound of any blame whatsoever.
We saw Mike Moore of Seattle get hurt the other night. Tellman may have injured himself.
Maybe a black hole out there someplace.
Tellman probably going to take some warm-up pitches. Let's see what happened to him. He's maybe just feeling a little ill. It didn't look like he pulled a muscle or anything.
No, he's a little dizzy.
What time did he get in?
I wouldn't want him pitching if that was the case.
Rayford hits one down the line, but foul. Well, it's kind of hot and humid today. Maybe that's bothering him.
For a second, when he bent over, I thought maybe he strained his back.
Still looks a little wobbly as he's walking around the mound.
I wouldn't want to be hitting. Of course, you wouldn't see a mark on Rafe if he hit him. Wouldn't bother him at all.
Struck him out. But the Orioles pick up a run on Wayne Gross' 2nd home run of the afternoon at the end of 7. It's now the Orioles 10 and the Oakland A's 1. This is also Cub Scout Day today. I don't think he's a Cub Scout.
No, he's not a Cub Scout, that's for sure.
Well, we welcome all the Cubbies who are here. Mike Young is in the game now for the Orioles. In left field.
Probably means a lot to Mike.
Mike Gallego will lead it off. His first plate appearance in the game. Came in to play second base.
Miguelito Gallego.
From Whittier, California.
Yeah, I thought so.
Played at UCLA. Last year was in the Coast League with Tacoma, where he had 243. And he pops it up. And they scatter as Rayford heads to the dugout. Nice slide by Floyd.
Floyd is a gamer, that's for sure. Go get him, Ray.
Look at the speed he shows for a guy his size. Carney Lansford.
Pop-up slide.
Carney preventing him from falling down the dugout steps.
He's taking those spikes right in the belly.
He's fast for a guy his size. 1-2 to Gallego. Blows him away with a fastball.
It's indicative of the success UCLA's had this year in collegiate baseball. I haven't seen this kid play much now.
I haven't either. You played where? UCR, University of California at Riverside?
That's it. They've got a great tournament out there every spring. National Invitational Tournament.
Steve Henderson steps in. He's 0 for 3. McGregor's allowed only 5 hits and only 1 run. That came on Dwayne Murphy's home run in the 7th inning. 10-1 Orioles. And McGregor thoroughly in command. 2-0 to Henderson.
There's a big double play he hit into earlier in the game because at the time the score was still 3-0, and the A's certainly could have gotten back into the game.
That was in the 5th when Oakland had loaded the bases. And Henderson banged into a double play to end the inning, and they were unable to score. 2 balls, 1 strike. McGregor with 3 consecutive strong performances, and that's good news because they were really concerned about him.
Oh, it's happy to see. And as a matter of fact, Scotty and I and his wife Karen, my wife Barbara, went out to Till Pepe's to eat when he stayed back when they went on to that West Coast trip and had some Mexican food. And he responded right after that.
A little of that hot sauce straightened you right out.
It had something to do with it. Straightens me out.
3-1 to Steve Henderson, batting with 1 out in the 8th. Foul ball. McGregor 8-3 lifetime against the Oakland A's. Had great success against both the A's and the California Angels.
He likes these California teams. He can get his Mexican food there. I can't stand it myself.
High fly ball shallow right. A long run for Lacy. Hey, how about that?
Nice basket catch.
Say hey.
Say hey, Lee, hey. Olay. There it is.
Some little leaguer will be out in his backyard trying that later this afternoon.
Practicing that play.
That's all Lee Lacy do it. It must be all right. 2 down. Here's Carney Lansford, who's 0 for 3. He has only 1 hit of the series. The Orioles have pretty well held Lansford and Kingman in check. Kingman has only one hit. He's 1 for 11 in the series. Lansford is 1 for 8.
Of course, if those two guys don't hit, you can bottle the A's up and send it back to Oakland.
And Lansford has not been hitting. He has 6 hits in his last 41 at-bats. Carney won the batting title in 1981, the only right-hander to win the title since 1970, and he smokes one foul down the line.
The left field line's gotten a lot of business today. Sakata's hit a couple down there.
An attractive hat. You'd look good in a hat like that.
Looks good on her. I like the earrings.
Lansford comes from quite a baseball family. His brother Jody is the first baseman in the Padres organization. Brother Phil is a shortstop for Cleveland's organization. He was a first-round pick in '78. And Carney draws a walk. Third walk allowed by Scott McGregor.
Well, that was a gracious thing for Scotty to do. He saw that Carney wasn't having too good of a series, not too good of a day either. Put him on.
Mike Davis, his walk popped to short and popped to first. Another guy held in check. They've held the 2, 3, 4 hitters, Lansford, Davis, and Kingman, to 2 hits collectively in this series. It was the pitching of Don Sutton and Jay Howell that got the job done last night for the A's, what appears to be their only win in this series.
Oh, they were absolutely superior.
2-0 to Davis. McGregor with a comfortable 9-run lead.
Sutton evidently charted that game that Mike threw over in Oakland and picked up quite a few things from him as far as varying speeds on his pitches.
That should end the inning. Mike Young closing in on it. And he makes the catch. For the Oakland A's in the 8th. No runs, no hits, and a man left. Let's go down to Tom Davis for an update on our scoreboard. Tom? The Sheik. The bullpen
Sheik of Era B.
Elrod Hendricks.
Great smile.
They should be smiling. They didn't have to get anybody up in the bullpen today.
Sure.
We have a new catcher for the A's, Charlie O'Brien, making his major league debut. Takes over behind the plate. And he catches the first pitch thrown to him. Lee Lacy leading off the 8th for the Orioles. Ground ball by Dusty Baker for a base hit.
Well, they may as well just put everybody on the right side of the infield when Lee's up.
That's his first hit in the game, the 12th hit for the Orioles. And Gary Renicky coming up. 10 runs, 12 hits for the Orioles. Cal Ripken has 3 hits. Eddie Murray has 3, including a pair of doubles and 3 runs batted in. Wayne Gross has 2 home runs.
This is not what you'd call a quality at-bat here for Rhino. Coming in late in the game, 10-1, hitting off a right-hander who he doesn't play off. And throwing him sliders he has a hard time hitting. Rhino looking up to the sky for help.
Looking to the great hitting instructor in the sky. Tellman just missed. 1-2. Tellman came in the 5th. Retired the last 2 hitters in that inning. Gave up a run in the 6th. Gave up Gross's home run in the 7th. High fly ball down the left field line. Steve Henderson. That's not Henderson. That is Heath. Removed from the plate to left field. Nice catch, Mike.
He handled that ball real well in left field.
He's versatile. He's played shortstop, third base. Been a catcher primarily and now playing in the outfield. Good athlete.
Of course, he broke back on the ball initially because of that big swing that Rhino took and recovered nicely.
He was signed by the Yankees as a shortstop.
Beautiful.
One out. Here's Cal Ripken, who's 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored. Ripken and Murray together have combined for 5 runs, 6 hits. Not a bad day for that 1-2 punch.
Even though Lacy's the only base-stealing threat the Orioles really have, and getting a sizable lead at first base, of course, he's not going to steal with this kind of lead. Dusty Baker 10, 15 feet behind him. Of course, Tellman might not know he's over there anyway. He always stretches when he delivers.
Not really looking at it. Cal got jammed on that pitch. The Orioles hold on and win this, and well, they should. Eddie Murray will have the game-winning RBI. His double in the 3rd drove in 2 runs. Put the Orioles ahead to stay.
Has Picholo walked today?
No.
Good.
Hasn't walked this season. Hasn't walked in 2 seasons, as a matter of fact. Tom Tellman, the 3rd pitcher used today by the A's, mopping up now in a 10-1 ball game. Grounded foul.
Slider running on the fist of Cal Ripken.
Now tomorrow the California Angels come to town to begin a 3-game series. Ken Dixon will pitch tomorrow night against Jim Slayton. On Tuesday it'll be Storm Davis against Ron Romanek. And on Wednesday, Dennis Martinez against rookie Kirk McCaskill. We'll bring you the games Tuesday and Wednesday on Home Team Sports.
Boy, what a repertoire of pitches that Kenny Dixon has.
Off to a good start. He's 4-2. At one point was leading the league in earned run average. He got knocked out in the 1st inning his last game.
The Orioles keep finding these kids. And other clubs keep looking. And California finds them, and they end up on the disabled list.
Ooh, well hit to left. Heath fading back, and he makes a one-handed grab.
Heath being tested in left field. I can remember Mark Belanger in the last couple of years that he was playing when Earl would put him out there in the 8th and 9th innings. Invariably, the first ball here would be right to Mark Belanger. Cal hits the ball well. Mike not having any trouble whatsoever.
Cal swung the bat well this afternoon after coming into this game in a slump. And wow, how about Eddie Murray? He's 3 for 3. Doubled in 2 runs in the 3rd, singled and scored in the 5th, doubled in another run in the 6th. And he's just hitting everything hard right now.
Doesn't matter. Eddie just hits.
Batting average approaching 300 now, hitting 294. Tellman starts him off with a changeup. 10 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Orioles. 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors for Oakland. The A's took 2 out of 3 from the Orioles in Oakland, but it looks like the Orioles will return the favor in this series.
Oh!
Bullet back through the middle. Lacy stops at 2nd. Eddie Murray going wild. His 4th hit of the game, and everything has been crushed.
I have no idea how Tellman avoided that ball.
Let's watch Tellman's reaction. An isolated look at him.
Well, he's lucky because that mound has been Danger Island. Whoa! Look out. Spread.
Sure, he didn't think it was funny.
Oh, geez. He can wipe that dirt off his chin now.
So Eddie Murray is 4 for 4. 2 doubles, 2 singles. Mike Young up for the first time. With runners at 1st and 2nd, 2 outs. The Orioles now have 13 hits, 4 of them by Murray.
Michael's not being near as aggressive as he should at the plate.
striking out a lot.
Taking too many pitches that he can hit. He's allowing himself to get in the hole. It's one thing to look good at the plate, but it's another thing to swing that bat with some aggressiveness. And he's capable of doing it, too.
Well, if you've not heard, the Cleveland Indians beat the Toronto Blue Jays 5-4 in the first game of the doubleheader. So the Orioles will pick up a game on Toronto. The Blue Jays have a second game to play today against the Indians. Luis Leal pitching the second game for Toronto against Rick Bahena of the Indians.
This little mini slump that Mike's going through is magnified to the extent that it's going to cause him some trouble if he's not going to get the adequate playing time to recover. Very, very likable kid, though.
17 home runs last year as a rookie.
He's proven he can hit.
Meanwhile, John Shelby is playing very well in Rochester. He was recently named the International League Player of the Week.
Well, in that particular instance, the Orioles will probably decide whether or not they want to bring up another catcher or bring back Shelby. Al Pardo is doing a job up for Rochester Red Wings.
Eddie Murray at first, Lee Lacy, the lead runner, at second. Ground ball to Gallego, a tricky hop, but he stays with it and throws on Young. For the Orioles in the eighth, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We've completed 8. The Orioles enjoying a lapper, leading 10-1.
Baseball and the O's. Earl came upon the scene. Each year they had a winning team.
Bill Proctor with John Lowenstein in Memorial Stadium, where Scott McGregor is putting the finishing touches on another fine performance, leading 10-1. Say, Friday, June 14th, the Orioles host the Milwaukee Brewers at 8:05, and it'll be sunglasses night. Roy Rogers sunglasses. One of the class items of the season. 2 different kinds of sunglasses will be given away. One set to adults 15 and over. The other set will be given to youngsters under 15. Both sets have a Birdwatchers insignia fastened to the top and the Orioles and Roy Rogers logos on the sides. And each kit of sunglasses also contains discount coupons to be used at Roy Rogers restaurants and at selected Orioles games. That is Friday, June 14th, sunglasses night. Speaking of sunglasses.
Yes. What's he looking for? His keys? Nope.
An intentional walk. Dave Kingman leading off the 9th. He's hitless in 3 at-bats, 1 for 11 in the series. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kingman. McGregor closing in on his 3rd complete game of the season and his 3rd straight win.
I'm sure Kingman would rather see somebody that throw the ball up there with some velocity.
3-1. The well-traveled Dave Kingman, who's played with the Giants, the Mets, the Padres, the Angels, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Mets, now the Oakland A's. He hasn't missed many.
Almost as many as Jimmy Dwyer. You gotta see their suitcase.
Stickers all over. Must have trouble getting all his mail, as many moves as he's made. Base hit for Kingman. That's the 6th hit for the Oakland A's today. Their only run came on a home run by Dwayne Murphy in the 7th. McGregor shut out the A's on 3 hits in Oakland, beat California on 6 hits in his last outing, and has scattered 6 hits this afternoon. And the Orioles have backed him with 10 runs. Dusty Baker has walked, popped to 3rd, and struck out.
Let's see what Scotty does here. He threw a couple big lollipop curveballs up there last time, and Dusty swung through both of them. Didn't even come close to hitting the ball.
Eddie Murray playing behind Kingman at first. The Orioles leading by 9 runs. 2-0 to Baker. Spent 7 years with the Braves, 7 with the Dodgers, and played last year with the Giants. 2-1. Dave Kingman at first. In the hole, Ripken with a backhand pickup. Good throw. They get the force on Kingman, but Baker beats the throw to first.
A nice play by Rip on the short hop. Watch this grab, a magician's grab. Beauty. Lenny's had a lot of activity down there today, Mel.
Kingman really coming into him hard.
It's not the guy you want coming in on you either.
Now he put Fritz Conley out of commission. Foul ball. Wayne Murphy homered with 1 out in the 7th. The only run of the game for the Oakland A's.
Fritz got in the dugout after that event yesterday and asked one of the guys on the bench, he said, what kind of guy is this Kingman anyway?
Kingman hit him with a forearm shiver. Big curve in for a strike. Connolly suffered a bruised vertebrae and is sitting out today's game. Meanwhile, Wayne Gross steps in and hits 2 home runs.
Makes Joe's job a lot easier.
Hit off the end of the bat. McGregor to second for 1. Ripken on to first, and that'll do it. For the A's in the 9th, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. Scott McGregor wins his 3rd straight complete game as he improves his record to 4-4. For the Orioles, 10 runs, 13 hits, no errors, 7 men left. For Oakland, 1 run, 6 hits, 2 errors, and 4 left. McGregor the winner. He's now 4-4. Mike Warren is charged with the loss. He is 1-4. And Eddie Murray had the game-winning RBI. This is part of a great day for Murray, who went 4 for 4 and drove in 3 runs. So the Orioles take 2 out of 3 from the Oakland A's. They won the series opener 9-2. The A's won last night 3-1, but the Orioles pound out a 10-1 victory this afternoon before a crowd of better than 34,000. Stay with us. Our post-game show is coming up.
The Orioles had put the Dodgers down in 4.
The executive producer of Orioles baseball is Jody Shapiro. Today's game directed by Sheldon Schemmer. Julie Scafidi, our associate producer. John Niehaus, technical director. Today's game was brought to you by Stroh's. From one bear lover to another, Stroh's. And by your local Baltimore, Washington area Subaru dealers. This is Mel Proctor for John Lowenstein and Tom Davis saying so long from Memorial Stadium with the final scores. The Orioles 10, the Oakland A's 1. Be sure to stay tuned to HCS for the encore presentation of today's game at 7:30. Tuesday night, John and I will return to HCS as the Orioles face Reggie Jackson and the California Angels live from Memorial Stadium at 7 o'clock right here on Home Team Sports, the channel you cheer for. Orioles baseball is a presentation of Home Team Sports.